Hey everyone, it's Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation. I'm going to be covering the top 10 live albums of all time. This is a really tough assignment, so there are so many great live albums out there. Let's get started. Couple of honourable mentions. Rolling Stones, Love You Live. So this is the classic lineup of the Rolling Stones. You've got Ron Wood in the band. 1975 is where the majority of the tracks come from. The Black and Blue album was going to come out the year later. It's just killer hit after killer hit. You've got Honky Tonk Woman, you've got Tumbling Dice, you've got Sympathy for the Devil, Get Off My Cloud, Happy, Hot Stuff, just to name a few. Interesting little bit of trivia. You had a little bit of a disagreement between Jagger and Richards as to what the song list was going to be on this double LP. So by agreement, they got an LP each. One LP is Jagger's preferred song list. The other one is Richards. So that's a bit of band diplomacy, but we win out. The Stones have had so many great live releases over the course of their career. This is definitely up there, and it's one of my favorites, and therefore it's an honourable mention. Rolling Stones, Love You Live. Another honourable mention is the Plimsolls. Live, Beg, Borrow and Steal, 1981 at the Whiskey A Go-Go. So if you're not familiar with the Plimsolls, it was fronted by that guy over there, Peter Case. He was in a band called The Nerves, which were a punk band in the late 70s. One of their claims to fame was that they wrote a song called Hanging on the Telephone, which was recorded by Blondie and was a bit of a minor hit around the world. How would I describe the Plimsolls? Perfect power pop, garage rock, power punk, 60s guitar, jangly guitar, all of that in one. Perfectly crafted pop songs. On this album, you know, you've got Hush Hush, Shaky City. They do a killer version of Sorry by the Easy Beats, Women, Jump, Jive and Harmonize, and Come On Now. So check it out. Live, Beg, Borrow and Steal at Whiskey A Go-Go. This is a really good document of the Plimsolls. They didn't quite break through. They had a bit of a minor hit with A Million Miles Away. They were on the Valley Girl soundtrack, the movie with Nicolas Cage in the early 80s. But this is a really good document of the live band that were the Plimsolls, and that's one of my honourable mentions. All right, we get into the top 10. Ozzy Osbourne, Speak of the Devil. So I've known about this album for a while, but it's only the last couple of years that I have investigated, bought the album, listened to it. Wow, it's a bit of a knockout. So it's a 80s guitar interpretation of all the classic 70s Sabbath songs. So if you're attuned to hearing the versions of the Sabbath songs like Symptoms of the Universe, Sweet Leaf, NIB, Black Sabbath, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, or Never Say Die, the Tony Iommi style, you'll be in for a little bit of a shock. It's wild, it's inventive. You've got the killer band of Brad Gillis, that beautiful guitar tone, bass Rudy Sarzo, drums Tommy Aldridge, and then you've got Ozzy Osbourne on lead vocals. It's a killer live album. It's wild, it's inventive, and that's my number 10. Number 9 is Deep Purple, Made in Europe. So this is the Mark III lineup where you have Blackmore, Coverdale, Glenn Hughes, John Lord, and Ian Pace. I like this particular album, and I put it above Made in Japan because I think that Blackmore, between the years 73 to 77 or 78, He was at his finest as a guitar player. He was really pushing himself. And this album is a great document of his guitar playing. It's only got about 5 songs: Burn, Mistreated, You Fool No One, Lady Double Dealer, Stormbringer. Great versions of those songs. It doesn't have the excess of Made in Japan. There's no one side of drum solo. It's only a single album. It's just, I like the Mark III lineup, probably marginally better than Mark II, because I thought there was a little bit more edge, a little bit more of, you know, sort of the guitar chops were a little bit stronger, in my opinion, than Mark II. But there's not much between both lineups. And I think this album really encapsulates Mark III at their finest. You know, the vocal interplay between Coverdale and Hughes, the interplay between John Lord and Ritchie Blackmore, and the, you know, the driving drumming of Ian Pace. And another thing, you know, Glenn Hughes, what a fine bass player. Everyone talks about him as the voice of rock, but when you listen to this album, you hear what a great bass player he was, just driving it on the bottom end. Made in Japan, Deep Purple. Yeah, that's a good album, but Made in Europe gets my vote, and that's my number 9 pick. ACDC, If You Want Blood. So I love Bon Scott. I love that era. And again, this is a perfect document of a band at the peak of their powers. So they were on the rise. They were touring Europe, and this was recorded encapsulating all those early Bon Scott albums. So look at the, you know, songs: Riff Raff, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Bad Boy Boogie, The Jack, Problem Child. There's no filler on it. The song list is, it's got the perfect dynamics. There's no dull moments. It's got a lot of energy. And, you know, if I had to rate the top 5 ACDC albums, whether it's live or in the studio, this would easily be in the top 5. And that is my number 8 pick, If You Want Blood, ACDC. Rightio. My number 7 pick is Ozzy Osbourne, a Randy Rhoads tribute. So this is a collection of live tracks that was with that original touring band. The first couple of albums are, you know, are on this album. It's brilliant. It's got I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Believer, Mr. Crowley. You got Flying High again, Suicide Solution, and then you go into a little bit of a melody with the classic Black Sabbath of Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. You see and you hear Randy Rhoads at his finest, that Baroque, neo-classical style of his guitar, that beautiful tone, and the band behind him. It's a perfect document. There's not a lot of live material out there. This is a collection of all the different concerts on those first couple of tours. It's killer. I love it. Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads tribute. And that is my number 7 pick. We're going to do a part 2 to this. So please subscribe to Rock Daydream Nation. Tell me what your favorite live albums. Tell me what you think of my choices so far. We're going to do a part 2 to this live album top 10, and I'll be doing that very soon. I'll see you later. Bye.